and welcome back to Crimson Grey. I'm your main man, Aaron Paradise, and let's get into it where we left off. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I last played this, so I kind of don't... Okay, let's just get into it. Oh, Lizzie, I hope you weren't lonely. I just wanted to come greet you once your shift was over. You're a sight for sore eyes after this dead shift. Just give me a moment to look up. It didn't take him long, and then it's daylight for some reason. Then they were walking across campus to head back home. Her arm, through his, and her head leaning against his shoulder. They passed the couple, now lying still on top of one another. John seems a little surprised, but just shook his head. Lizzie inclined her head towards them, then looked back at him and raised her eyebrows. Sorry, I can barely keep my eyes open. That's okay. I know you've studied hard. Let me help you rest. When they got home, she quickly took his bag from him to put away before he could go to the trouble. If she acted quickly enough, he wouldn't need to use any more energy to make decisions and could just relax. Eventually, he fell asleep with his head on her lap. Finally, looking truly at peace, Lizzie stroked his hair and stared down at him. Ooh, watching. Oh! Oh, why do they still have the knife? Cleaver, knife in the tomatoes. Yeah, knife hidden in the tomatoes. That whole knife collection at the back there. Still have all that. Are we going to see a picture? Nope. Life proceeded normally enough. A significant part of campus was busy preparing for the arrival, but there were even more people who didn't know or didn't care. But it mattered to John, so it mattered to Lizzie. What a... okay. Since their time together, clearing out the room had gone well, they kept participating together. It hadn't all been as much fun as that, but Lizzie didn't mind the time preparing, and John seemed positively and engaged by it all. But when she came home from class one day, she realized that she might have gotten it entirely wrong. John slumped on the couch, too unfocused to notice her. Okay. There was an emptiness in his eyes that she hadn't seen in some time, immediately making her heart hammer in her chest. John, are you okay? Is something wrong? I'm just a little tired. There's not a problem or anything. Of course there's a problem. If you're not feeling okay, you don't have to pretend to smile for me, John. It's okay to be sad sometimes. Whoa, he's shocked. Thank you, Lizzie. It's nothing specific. Specific. Oh my god. I'm just having a bad day. Don't you just hate it when a word you know how to say, you can't say it right, it's just not coming out your mouth right? They stay right there and don't worry about anything. Then stay right there and don't worry about anything, she said, threateningly, with her fist clenched, shaking it. She skipped closer and gave him a quick hug and kiss, but didn't try to press. Instead, she moved on into the kitchen, getting something, simmering. When John was depressed, he didn't want to eat. She had learned that trying to force it could turn bad. Read it, Bella. But the smell would slowly get through to him. While doing her work, Lizzie headed into their bathroom and counted his depression medication. It didn't seem like he had forgotten or that he had taken more than usual, which was a good, but though his medication helped, it couldn't make his life perfect. There had been a time when she had desperately hoped that she could do that. She still wished that she could but she knew that his sadness didn't mean that he didn't love her. All she could do was be supportive. When she came back out, he had slumped back further, but she saw a bit more relaxation in his posture. Suddenly her heart ached with love for him, so intense that she had to support herself on her doorframe. She didn't deserve him. Oh, God. He was always so supportive, so kind, even when it cost him. It was easy to just bask in his presence, to see him as a shiny paragon. But her John was human. There we go, got it right. Stop adding words / letters. Had limited resources. If she had missed the signs, as she sometimes did, one of Lizzie's fingers slid up to her mouth and she started to bite down on it. Oh, but she pulled back. John wouldn't want her to do that. Instead, she moved into the room, determined to give back it this time. She checked on the soup, then went to sit beside him, just touching his side a little, being present without demanding anything of him. John smiled at her but didn't say anything. It was a quiet smile that faded into sadness, but she loved it too. These incidents always magnify her love for him. She didn't love his depression, but when he was like this, he seemed so truly real that she couldn't take her eyes off him. Lizzie restrained herself and just sat supportively. After a time, though, she shifted. Later on, maybe they could eat, but until then... Do you need to talk about anything? I'll be okay. I think it's just overextended myself preparing for Kelsey. What was it again? Kelsey? Yeah, Kelsey's visit. Oh, I hadn't been pushing you too much, have I? It was so much fun when we worked together before, so... No, I didn't mean that at all. There's just so much to do. Oh. Why is this? Oh, wow! Those eyes. I know you want to help, but you know your limits, right? You can't help others if you're not okay. You're right. Thanks, Lizzie. Lizzie thought that their conversation had gone well. Okay. But she was plagued by doubt. She hadn't noticed that this depression incoming. Had not been able to prevent it. She began going over every interaction in minute detail, wondering where she had neglected something. Lizzie realized that she needed to get out of her head. Okay, what's the circle thing for? Bye-bye. If she let herself keep thinking that way, she would end up spending the evening developing elaborate plans to kill someone or kidnap John to safety. Here we go again with the kidnapping. Woo! She needed to do something, but what? Be quietly supportive. Talk about issue. Lizzie wanted to be supportive, but she knew she couldn't help him if she let herself grow unstable. So she hesitantly began to talk, letting him know about her insecurities. Though John didn't have much energy to spare, he did his best to listen. But as things went on, Lizzie began to tell that he was growing more depressed. She wished she'd decided differently, but it was too late. Oh, or is it? It was too late. I'm just going to stick with the decision. They stopped talking after a while and just held each other on the couch, drifting closer to sleep as exhaustion claimed them. As she fell asleep, Lizzie settled on another thought. This visit might be a good thing, but she would be very glad when it was over. Oh, yeah. When the day finally came, it wasn't as grand as all the build-up had led Lizzie to expect. It was just another speaker coming to the campus, after all, and as one of the better universities in the region, they got plenty of speakers. The growing power of pharmaceuticals was a somewhat hot topic, but it was hardly a source of celebrity. Okay, a source of celebrity. Her expectations had been tempted by John's attitude, though. Oh God, leave me out of this. Aaron and some of the other organizers were exhalated. Okay. As if visit from a guest speaker would change everything, but as usual, he was more reserved. It was one of the things that made his love for her so special, and she loved it as a part of him. The low-key nature of the entire thing did a lot to calm her anxiety, though Lizzie had filled many pages of her notebook with plans in the event of an attack. But given... God damn, you're crazy. Yeah, but given that this was one of the stuff on a long speaking tour, it seems less likely that Koyatek would actually try anything. Or would they? If they knew you were there. They were heading out to attend soon, and though it was going to be as casual as most events on campus, Lizzie had dressed up a little out of habit. She lingered by a cabinet trying to select which weapons to take along with her. Come on, Lizzie! The problem was that she had room for so few. Her axe, of course, but the knives were always a problem. Ready to go, Lizzie? Almost, John. Just let me pick a knife and I'll be with you. He leaned against a nearby wall watching her. No, those eyes like, you did what now? Thoughtfully, as she chose. After a moment he spoke slowly. I'm just wondering, would you be happy if Kelsey managed to destroy Koyatek somehow? Of course. It's a terrible company. It gave you that awful drug and it tried to take us apart. But she isn't going to destroy it. Just regulate it. Maybe things will get better, but I want revenge. I meant destroy in a metaphorical sense. Dismantling the corporation. You are more thinking leveling it to the ground. Blood and flames. Oh, come on. Blood and flames. Lizzie answered happily and finally picked a slender knife, a good balance of range, heavy enough to be durable, but thin enough to augment her axe with stabbing potential. She set it into its place and turned to him. Now he's got a nice smile on him. But I don't mind things like this. Anything that works against them is good. And no, I don't want you to hurt yourself. I'm happy that you care about this so much. But if there was some way to leave them intact but ensure they never bothered us again, I take it, of course. You're the most important thing. She leaned forward and gave him a kiss, letting this one linger. It might be their last until the serious event was over, so she wanted to enjoy it. Not that she minded waiting. It made the next kiss when they came. It made the next kiss when they came together again all the sweeter. I just wanted to say that you're the most important thing to me. Sorry if I seem preoccupied by all this. No, it's fine. I like to see you focus on things you love. Well, I don't take you for granted. I hope I never do. Ah, John, if you keep talking like that, we won't make it to the event, because she's planning to jump on top of you. Ha ha! He chuckled and offered her his arm, which she gladly accepted. They headed out to the hall to hear the speech. Oh, howdy, Miss Kelsey. I just got achievement, so that's why I said Miss Kelsey. Okay, they arrived and found the hall surprisingly full. It looks empty to me. Almost enough to make her wish they've arrived earlier, but it would be fine. Aaron waved to them from near the front, but those seats were already full, so they took ones near the back. It's good to see our work wasn't wasted. At least lots of people seem interested. Lots of people from the community too. I don't know why I struggled with that. Doesn't surprise me. Koritech may not have any direct presence here, but they manufacture so many drugs people have to know about them. Lizzie reached out to hold his hand while they waited for things to get started. He took it and chatted casually with her until it was finally time. Hey. After some awkward testing at the mic and a squeal of feedback, the Dean managed to quiet the people down. Though he gave an introduction to Francesca Kelsey, Lizzie wasn't able to focus on it. She already knew the information, and it was essentially just a formality anyway. More importantly, Lizzie looked for the woman herself, and found her seated near the front. She looked like her picture, nothing out of the ordinary, but Lizzie shifted her gaze between her and the exit just to be sure. When Francesca Kelsey took the stage, Lizzie surreptitiously shot a glance at John. But she had been wrong to worry. He had shifted to his purely focused mood, interested only in what she had to say. Oh, there's an old picture of her. On my first day of work at the FDCA, my supervisor said I should look for another job because the organization wouldn't be needed for long. She was a good speaker, though her speech had the feeling of one that had begun repeated a huge number of times. It had an air of authenticity to it. Authenticity. But it was a practice authenticity. Lizzie could only focus on it in the background anyway. While listening idly, Lizzie came to realization. Something she had never said to John. Probably something she should discuss with him. She squirmed a little in her seat, wondering what thoughts he might have about it, but she couldn't interrupt. Some people might have said that Koitet created her, with their ill-advised experiments with when Abby was pregnant. Lizzie had never felt that way until now, had not reflected on the fact. Now she understood why. The experiment might have made her different from the other girls, but Lizzie didn't care about that. What mattered to her was the person she was now, shaped by her years growing up, and most importantly, shaped by John. Her world had felt so hollow and empty, and then, when she had found him, she had been... Oh God, okay. Yeah, enough focus on him. But he had opened up a new world of possibilities for her. Unable to contain herself, Lizzie leaned over and kissed John on the cheek. He blinked in surprise and then smiled at her, resting her head against his shoulder. Lizzie let her focus drift back to the speech for a moment. The industry lobbyists would have you believe that their self-regulations has been and will continue to be effective. The primary example that is always brought up is how oh God, why is there words I can't read? Was kept out of the United States, and so many children were spared birth defects. But as a demonstration thoroughly in my books, this was more of a quirk of fate than self-regulation. And I should never give speeches because I keep messing up words. And that thin layer of defense will not be remotely adequate given a massive increase in research and development we've seen over the past 2 decades. Most notably, many of the newest drugs being produced, treat conditions that are fundamentally subjective. Their consequences, if any, will take years to emerge and may not always be as clearly defined as birth defects. Make no mistakes, there are people alive today bearing the scars of this unchecked research. Sooner or later they will come forward. Lizzie sat tensely, deciding to hold in her concern over that development. But John had already considered that. He squeezed her hand and bent closer to whisper to her, "Are you all right? John, would you want me to step forward and do that?" "No." He answered came immediately. Lizzie was a little surprised, and John seemed to have taken himself aback. But a moment later he smiled. "No, you matter more to me than all of this. Anyone who stepped forward would be surrounded by a horrible amount of controversy. I want you here with me." Her smile widened, and Lizzie leaned in to kiss him. Tears in her eyes, she had so many things she wanted to say to him, but some people around them were already glaring at their whispering. When the two of them kissed, most of the glares rolled their eyes and turned away. Alright, you know what? I'm going to have to leave it there because it has been quite a long video. But I said save. Boom. So, yes, I've been your main man, Aaron Paradise. This has been Crimson Grey. Just getting dawn. Is that right? Yeah, Dusk and Dawn. And I shall see you in the next episode. Please like, subscribe, comment and share, all that fancy stuff. Yeah.